Hi, I'm Chandler Oakman, and your modern world frightens and confuses me. Sometimes when I'm in traffic and I hear the honking of the horns, it makes me want to get out of my BMW and head for the hills. Sometimes when I receive a message on my fax machine, I think, did little demons get in there and write this evil message to me? I don't know. I'm just a caveman. Welcome to Chandler's Travels. Today we are at the Blackwater Draw Archeological Site outside of Portales, New Mexico, examining some of the elements of prehistory, the people who, and mastodons and mammoths and everybody who was here thousands of years ago. Hope you'll enjoy it. So, as I've said in a couple other of these segments, what makes the Blackwater site so important is that this is where people first discovered the Clovis people hunting the mammoths much earlier than we thought was previously understood in North America. And this all started because this was a quarry. So they were digging out the limestone, I believe that was in this area. And there was a 19-year-old, James Ridgely Whiteman, who discovered these arrowheads, which wouldn't be that uncommon to find in this area from all of the inhabitants, the Comanche and Lipan Apache and Mescalero Apache and all the others that would be in this area. But these were inside the rock with elephant bones. And this 19-year-old figured that this was pretty important and started contacting the Smithsonian, and 3 years later they came and started doing all of the studies and research about the Clovis people. They named it after the town just north of us, so the Clovis people. And this has all been quarried out, so it would not be as hilly as we see it today and as canyony. It would have been a little bit flatter. And this is called the Blackwater Draw because even hundreds of thousands of years ago, there would have been a natural spring and sort of a creek that formed here that the mammoths and mastodons and other animals would have drunk from here. And then the people came to hunt the mastodons, because I'm going to call these people prehistoric Texans, and they would enjoy a good hunt and a good barbecue, just like we do today. Some of the other animals that would have been in this area, they would have, the camel actually came from North America. So did the horse, but they were much different than what we see camels and horses looking like today. The horses would have been about the size of maybe a Great Dane, maybe even smaller than that. Giant sloths. It's hard to believe with how this terrain looks today, but this was lush and green. This is fairly green, but even more so, maybe even closer to a jungle kind of atmosphere. So the giant sloths would just be roaming all around here, along with the huge mastodons and mammoths and all sorts of other fascinating animals. And then people. The people would have crossed the Bering Land Bridge and come here thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, just like the mammoths did. So behind me is this large hill. Now this was part of the quarry, so it would not have been as hilly. We're all in this land that has been excavated. And I'm slowly figuring out everything as I go along. Unlike most of these episodes where I research everything beforehand, I just decided to come and see what I'd find out. What I found out is pretty interesting. So behind the hill, you can kind of make out the gray that's up there. That was the lake bed. So this was all an ancient lake. So that is where not a creek or anything else, but a lake, freshwater lake that these mastodons and camels and everyone would drink from. And the right here, that lake would have served as the headwaters for the Brazos River. So that's my stomping grounds. That's where I live, is farther down on the Brazos River. So very interesting that thousands and thousands of years ago, the Brazos River would have started right here in what is now New Mexico. So immediately behind me here, this pit, this is where the first excavation took place in 1932, where they found a full mammoth fossil with two spear points, which are now the type identified, the first ones of Clovis type spear points. Right here, however many thousands of years ago, the hunters gathered together. Some poor mammoth was just having a drink of water, and that was the last sip that he would take, as however many of these Clovis peoples would have gathered together and hunted the animal down and then ate very well that night. So this is the interpretive center. This is where you can see all of the different layers that they have taken down. So layer A, B, and C, that's the bottom area there. And remains of giant sloths, dire wolves, turtles, bison, mammoth, camel, people, and the Clovis spear points have all been found there. Then up here, you can still see the bones that are in the ground there. Down here, you can see clearly some teeth from a jaw of some animal. I don't see any labels here that tell you what kind. But they've built this whole shelter on top of all of these digs. And so, as we were talking about before, the difference in the color of the soil, so I believe the grayer that it is, that is when this was a lake, and then the more clay and brown on top of it, that's what it would have looked like in the more recent past. So it's very different coming to a site like this as opposed to what I've been doing with the channel, going to these places where we have stories, we have these first-hand accounts of the events that took place in these areas and these sites. Here we discovered things that we didn't know before, but we kind of have to extrapolate what the human story would have been. So as I'm walking this trail, just kind of thinking to myself of, this is the place where we discovered that people were hunting mammoths in North America. First of all, that they did that. We didn't know that humans and mammoths existed together in North America. We thought that humans came much later. So you have to think that the topography, everything around here would have looked a lot different. I think I'd be underwater right now because this would be a lake. And you think of that mammoth that they discovered. And I know I've been using the terms mammoth and mastodon interchangeably. That's because I don't know what I'm talking about. I am a historian, not a paleontologist or an archaeologist, despite the coat that I'm wearing. So they find mammoth bones next to two spear points. Well, using your imagination, how do you get to that? You have to think, well, we've got people who are around this lake, and they hunted that mammoth. So this mammoth that is however many times bigger than our elephants are today, was minding its own business, drinking water from its lovely lake that it comes to all the time. And these little things start gathering all around it in the bushes. It can't completely hear what's going on. I'd hate to just show up someplace drinking my Dr. Pepper and have a whole bunch of G.I. Joes try and take me down. And that's essentially what happened to this mammoth. But on the people side of things, these Clovis people were hungry. I don't know, think about it. Maybe they hadn't eaten in a long time. Maybe they are taking down all this food to preserve so that they can survive through the winter. It's a matter of survival. These people would not want to go up against this however many thousands of pounds of behemoth if they didn't have to. I don't care how good it tasted, but they did. And so you and your friend Chaka and your other friend Uga Chaka, you get together and decide that you're going to take down this thousands of pound behemoth. And so you get your spears together, you get your plan, you have your voice commands ready so that you can talk to each other. And in the middle of this fight, as people are hopping on top of this mammoth, the mammoth is just swaying back and forth violently, trying to throw these, to him would feel like G.I. Joes from off of his body as they're sticking him hundreds of times. Through all of this, I mean, Chaka, he just gets flown off 20 feet off in the distance. We hope that he doesn't have a concussion. Or maybe that's the best that we could hope for Chaka. And you've got your spear and you stick it in, and then the spear point breaks off because we find 2 spear points there. So now you're just cussing at the thing that you don't have your tool ready anymore. So hopefully you've got another spear handy, or you're just going at it with your knife. Because then we find all of these elements from the processing of the animal. So all the knives and all the tools that would be used to cut the hide and preserve the meat and all these things, all made out of stone, because that's what you have around. So that is my interpretation, if you will, of the human story of how you get to the mammoth skeleton and the 2 broken spear points here at Clovis. This is something you're not going to get on other channels. Other people who are so worried about what was completely accurate and what we can know for sure, they're not going to give you the story of Chaka and Uga Chaka. That's something you can only get right here on Chandler's Travels. Then you have to think that because your spear point broke off, maybe you couldn't participate as well in the hunt, but Uga Chaka dealt the death blow, and so then they write songs about him for years and years. You have to hear about how brave Uga Chaka was. Chaka was the one who got flown 20 feet in the air, and he's never been the same. And then you were real scared because now you don't have your spear point anymore, and they don't care. It's all about Uga Chaka, singing songs about Uga Chaka, and he gets however many wives because of it. It's just a darn shame. A darn shame. So I'm here on the campus of East New Mexico University. This is where the Blackwater Draw Museum is. They are also the ones in charge of running the site as well. They take a lunch, so it's open from like 9 to 12, and then they close for an hour and then come back at 1. Well, I just happened to get here right at 1 because this is mountain time. So just fine. It's a lovely campus. Might I just say, it is August in the year of our Lord 2025. It is somewhere between 88 and 92 degrees, and the shade actually works. Where I'm from, the shade doesn't work. You're just as hot in the shade as you are in the sunshine, and it's just the water's everywhere. It's not fun. But here on the Llano Estacado, I am very much enjoying respite in the shade. It's very nice. And being here on campus, I think that there's some sort of orientation that is happening today. There seems to be a lot of families coming through with their freshmen. They're all got lots of parties going on, introducing people to the campus and the things that are going to be happening throughout the next year. And I was sitting in the student union building, and this very long, bushy-haired surfer kind of guy, he had a little patchy mustache, comes up to me at my table and he says, "Dude, I just want to say you have an exquisite outfit." And then he gave me one of those high fives that turns into a pound. He said, "Love the ring too, brah." You gotta love it. You gotta love the enthusiasm of youth that just permeates a place like this. So I wanted to share with you some of that before we check into the museum. So I just got out of the Blackwater Draw Museum, and after talking with Monty, who I think was one of the student workers who was, he's studying paleontology or something like that. Got a few answers to some questions. Highly recommend that if you're coming to do the site, do both. I don't know if you guys are going to hear it, but as part of the freshman orientation behind me, there's some sort of vuvuzela horn that they are blowing and having a big celebration there. After talking with Monty, what this area looked like 13,000 years ago was kind of more deciduous forest. It was cold and wet. The glaciers were pretty much at the Canadian border, so that would have made it much colder and wetter here than I had thought. He also talked about how one of the Clovis points that they found was inside a saber-toothed tiger. So the saber-toothed tigers were wandering all around here, and after getting in a scrap with a human, the human broke his spear point inside of the cat, and we don't know if the cat died immediately after that or if he just walked around with it like Andrew Jackson. I don't know. thought that was very interesting to share. And two other things that I talked about with Monty at the University of Eastern New Mexico. I asked him if they had dogs. The Clovis people, I'm thinking if I'm going to go hunt after a mammoth, I'd want at least a Jack Russell Terrier. You get, 3-4 Jack Russells with you, they could take down a mammoth without you. He said yes, though they don't have any bones or anything. They are just from circumstantial evidence. Already, wolves would have been started to be domesticated by the Clovis people. So that was very important for me because they're going to want some treats off of that mammoth. Big bones, good meat on those bones. So good to know that. Also, the next development in the stage of our understanding of humanity in North America is the Folsom people. And my whole life, when I'd heard the Folsom people and the Folsom archaeological site, I thought they were talking about Folsom, California, like where the prison is. But no. Monty was telling me there's a Folsom in New Mexico, and that is where that archaeological site is. So that was news to me, might be news to some of you. Very interesting. Those two things, I wanted to make sure that I relayed the most important points from my conversation with Monty to you all. So wanted to add this back in there. I think that just about covers all of the... I'll show this in there, but they have 2 spear points from the Star Trek episode, the Galileo 7, because the spear points were somewhat similar to what the Clovis points actually were. Come on, a little bit of Star Trek history. 2 screen-used props, 2 props that were thrown at... Actually, no, Captain Kirk wasn't there. He was on the Enterprise. Oh my... Stardate 28.428. Those spear points were thrown at Mrs. Spock. Very interesting. Highly recommend you come and visit and talk with some of the folks here at East New Mexico University. Behind me, I chose this as sort of the backdrop. It's like a little sitting shade area, but not providing much shade right now. But it actually has double helix DNA strands all around it because we're in between 2 science buildings. Thought that was very interesting. It's like, bingo, dino DNA. How fun is that? Well, that just about wraps things up on this episode of Chandler's Travels. I hope you enjoyed this all handheld version. You got to get really close on my red Irish face right here. Hope you enjoyed that and some of the conversations that we've shared about prehistoric Texas and New Mexico. As always, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. All of that helps us in growing our audience so that I can take even more people with me along on my journeys. Until next time, vaya con Dios.